expected to be covered by this audit to fully cooperate with the audit process as required by law.
Barely 18 months after the diplomatic face-off between Nigeria and South Africa, the federal government has commenced the issuance of new vaccination cards for yellow fever, cholera and smallpox. The Minister of Health, Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu, who flagged off the event in Abuja, says the cards, also to be known as International Certificate of Vaccination and Prophylaxis, will replace the old ones with effect from October the 1st. He added that international travelers need not risk their trips with fake vaccination cards and should obtain genuine ones at the Public Health Department of the Federal Ministry of Health. The cards are also available at the nation's airports, seaports and land borders.
We thought it was important for the minister to also do a formal flag off as part of the sensitization and creating awareness. As minister, when I go on the streets and I ask people, quite a number of Nigerians don't seem to appreciate that we have a new yellow card. And yet we have set a target of October, that by in October, that's just next month, the old cards will no longer be valid. And we don't want Nigerians to get embarrassed when they are traveling. So we want to ensure that Nigerians are aware and they equip themselves with the new yellow card. However, the new one followed the issues that arose sometime last year about Nigerians traveling to South Africa. We looked into the issue. We actually found that part of the confusion was that years ago, the National Council on Health, in their wisdom at that time, some decades ago, felt to make it easy for Nigerians to obtain it, they wanted to decentralize. So they now permitted state governments, even private sector, to be able to print their own yellow card and issue, as well as the federal government. But because there was no control, we found that there were gaps. So now, National Council on Health has reversed that decision and now says it must only be printed by the Federal Ministry of Health.
Minister of Health, Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu. Now, the Federal Capital Territory Command of the Nigeria Police says it has killed 5 suspected armed robbers following a gun battle with policemen. The public relations officer of the FCT Command, Mrs. Altine Daniel, told journalists that the suspects were traced to their hideout after a tip-off from some members of the public. She added that the group has been responsible for several robbery attacks in the nation's capital.
We received a distress call that there was robbery going on in Wuse by Banex Plaza. Immediately our men moved to the scene, but the robbers shot their way out of that environment. And from there we initiated our investigations and we used some clips from the CCTV footage, and we were able to trace them to their hideout in New Karu. Precisely on the 14th at around 045 hours, our men went to the hideout in continuation of their investigation, and the robbers, on sighting them, opened fire on them, and our men too opened fire on them, and we were able to arrest 5 of them who were later certified dead in the hospital. We wish to appeal to members of the public at this juncture that they should please have faith in us and always give us relevant information. Every information they give us, we treat it with the utmost confidentiality, and we will use it in doing our best at apprehending criminals who are terrorizing members of the public, especially within Abuja here.
Well, the Nigerian police is also telling Nigerians not to fear, and that it has not announced any plan to clamp down on cars over the issue of vehicle registration. Police spokesman Frank Mba told Channels Television that no deadline has been set on the biometric central motor registration, which commenced today. He explained in a statement that the police are still conducting an awareness campaign on the matter and have no plans for forceful enforcement of the policy. Mr. Mba added that the transition from the old CMR to the new one, or to the BCMR, will be gradual.
When we come back, a news track. Academic activities resume today in all parts of Yobe State, talking about schools that are finally reopened.
Do stay with us for details.
Investigating, exposing, uncovering, reporting, hard-hitting interviews. Sunrise Daily, only on Channels Television.
Welcome back to News Track. All our top stories and other programs can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb.
And to get us on the move, you can visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on the iPad, iPhone, or BlackBerry. And you can download the Channels TV app for the Android and Nokia 920 devices from their respective stores. After 10 weeks of shutdown of schools in Yobe State following the wave of attacks by the dreaded Boko Haram sect, normal academic activities finally resumed today across all the schools in the state. The state government had on Friday last week ordered the reopening of all primary and secondary schools, giving the assurance that adequate measures have been taken to prevent further attacks. Our correspondent in Damaturu, who went around some of the schools, reports that the turnout of pupils and students in the schools was impressive. Meanwhile, 2 schools that were attacked will have to wait for 2 weeks pending the completion of some repair work there. 29 students and 3 teachers were killed in the attacks, which the dreaded Boko Haram sect has claimed responsibility.
Meanwhile, the Delta State government today inaugurated the Education Marshal Project in Asaba. Governor Emmanuel Uduaghan said his administration has already recruited 100 education marshals to monitor schools in the state. The Education Marshals Project is to ensure compliance by parents and guardians to the state's education policy to have all school-aged children in classrooms during school hours. Dr. Uduaghan also decorated some of the marshals at the event.
These marshals are individuals aged between 25 and 40 years.
This will be the consequence if a child is caught outside the classroom during school hours in Delta State.
How are you? How did you get out of the school compound? There is a security guard. In short, where are your teachers? How did you get
Though
out of
this
the
is
school
just a
compound?
simulation, the Delta Education Marshal is real with the backing of the state government.
Over 8% of the children of Delta State who are supposed to be in school today are not in school. So many reasons are being adduced for their not being in school, starting from not having enough classrooms, cultural issues, traditional issues, financial issues by parents. Yes, all these are excuses.
While many children in Delta State are made to engage in child labor, such as street hawking, to augment their family's income. That's a practice prohibited by Nigeria's Child Rights Act, and traditional rulers in Delta State also lauded the Edu Marshals.
There must be a concerted effort to make sure that we have the children we can train, because the government cannot continue to spend resources on training children. For some people are making children as if they are factories. We do hope that this program will help our children to go to school.
While the leadership of the National Council of Women's Society also indicated their commitment to the Edu Marshals.
Today, another milestone is added, and that is every child must be educated. We'll do our best to make sure that the children are in school. Those who are out of school, we make sure that we talk to the parents to send back to school.
So, here's how it works. These education marshals will patrol their jurisdiction during school hours, and any child found engaging in other activities outside the classroom will be accosted. And after 3 months of the introduction of Edu Marshal, counseling will give way to prosecution of the parents by the Delta State government.
Now, the management of the Niger Delta Development Commission, the NDDC, says there's no going back on the commitment to make living easier for residents of the Niger